Hi, everybody. We're back answering those mysteries of dog behavior and training. And today we have some more questions that you all have sent in to us. So, Debbie, you want to hit us with the first question?
So, one of my clients reached out and said, should my scared dog go to daycare to get comfortable around other dogs? Well, no, is the short answer. The longer answer is we never want to just throw somebody into the deep end, right? If they're afraid of something, we want to see if we can help them to see that it's not a scary thing, no matter what it is, another dog, the garbage truck. But we don't want to put them in a place where they have to face their fears, because that's only going to be more terrifying and not going to help them move forward. What do you think, Jude?
I like to keep dogs at home if they're frightened like that, because we don't want to throw them to the wolves, so to speak, but we can let them see the wolves, if that makes sense. In a situation where a dog is fearful, you don't want to go to doggy daycare, but you can gradually get them used to seeing other dogs by maybe taking them to an area where there's a lot of dogs, but you want to be way back. Maybe that's even 50, 100 feet, just to let them observe what's going on.
Right. And send that right message yourself,
Yeah. Because generally speaking, when you're in it, it's a really scary situation. A lot goes on at doggy daycare. It's a very busy place, high energy, oftentimes throughout the day, and some dogs just are not equipped for that. I don't think I've ever had a dog that would be equipped for that or ready for that or even feel comfortable in that environment. So you have to do what's right for your dog.
My own guys don't go to daycare, but if yours does, make sure it's a place with cameras and, you go in and you get a good feel, good wormy feel. Yes. Unfortunately, Judy and I have heard some crazy stories. Yep. Judy, what's your question?
Well, my question is from Jane, and she is getting a shelter dog. She's asking about the 333 rule. Now, we did a very extensive video about the 333 rule, and I will have that linked below. But what is the 333 rule? Well, what it says is that the first 3 days that your dog is with you, your dog is decompressing. Then for 3 weeks, it takes another 3 weeks rather, for the dog to settle in. And then at 3 months, your dog should feel at home. This is one of those rules that I think you should toss out, because I don't see that as being something we can really depend on. I adopted a dog at 4 months of age, and it took her 8 months before she felt comfortable in our home. Every dog is different. Every individual is different. So we really need to cater to what their situation is and how they feel.
I agree 100%. I'm on the board of a small rescue, and I always tell people to, kind of throw that away, because otherwise dogs are held up to these expectations. Oh my gosh, my dog's been here for 3 months. I can take him to the party down the street and he's going to love everybody.
Right. Or my dog's been here for 3 months and he's not settled in yet. He must be broken, or he must not be a good dog.
Right.
So maybe he just had a really hard start before you got him, and he needs that extra time.
We've seen the dogs that take a year, or like Judy said, her dog took 8 months, and that's okay, and it's fine. Everybody's an individual, so we don't want to put a blanket statement out there. So the answer to that is don't pay too much attention to it. Look at your dog, see where he's at.
And give them the time they need plus more time. Just make sure that they're comfortable. That dog that took 8 months to feel comfortable in our world, she was probably one of the most social dogs you'd ever want to see afterwards, but she just needed that time.
Well, she knew she felt safe with you, so she could move forward, right?
That's right. That's right. Making them feel safe and happy are the 2 most important things that we can do. Okay, Debbie, what is our next question?
So Alex said, can I leave my dog outside of the coffee shop and quickly run in? She said, I've been talking to a lot of friends and we got into a big debate about it.
That's something to debate.
I mean, if someone says to you, no, because someone might take your dog, that's valid. You have to know your surroundings, right? You have to know what's appropriate or not, knowing that there are certainly no guarantees with anything. Right. I will say that I have brought Sally with me to get a drink, and there were some teenage girls that were all over her oohing and eyeing, and I said to them, if I run in and get my drink, you want to just stay with her? And they said, yes, please, please. So I ran in, but the big window was there and they were right in front of it. Is that a risk? Some people might say that wasn't very smart, Debbie. But so you have to weigh every individual situation. Generally, should we do it? Is your dog comfortable? Is your dog that kind of dog? Is your dog a dog that's going to bark, seeing you inside? When are you coming back? When are you coming back? When are you coming back? Not every dog could do it. I certainly could never leave Fitzy outside with somebody that he didn't absolutely know and live with. But so you have to weigh the situation.
And we want to keep as little stress in their lives as possible. And you being away from them in that situation where they are in a different world, they're not at home, they're in, a different environment, and you go inside, they have no idea if you're coming back. So you want to be really cautious of that. I had a client once that tied her dog to the table outside of a restaurant, pretty heavy table. And as she was walking out of the door with her coffee, dog drug the table across the drive-through into the parking lot. And this was a small dog in a really big table. Well, the dog was that frightened. If you're in a situation like that, you can always call the coffee shop and say, hey, can you bring my coffee outside for me? Or maybe ask someone who's going in, can you grab my coffee off the counter when you come out?
Right.
You don't want to be in that situation. You definitely don't want your dog hurt. Think about your dog in those situations and you'll be just fine. And you wouldn't leave your baby outside. Okay, next question. My dog digs in the yard and I'm about to plant my garden and I really worry that she is going to tear up my garden. Well, dogs learn by mimicking. Dogs are social learners, so they watch and they will often mimic what we do. Let's think about when you put your hands on the countertop and you're cooking or whatnot. What do the dogs do? They put their feet up because that's what we do basically in their mind. Our hands are their feet. So while you're out digging in the flower bed, I like to put my dog inside, maybe with a Kong, something like that to keep them busy because they can and they may, and more than likely they will, learn that digging is really fun because if mom or dad's out there digging, why can't I? And I did have a client, I went to her home and as she was planting plants, the dog was going behind her, pulling out the plant and digging a new hole and pulling out the next plant and digging a new hole. There's a good chance.
I think that's great, Jude. And I think that
it was adorable, actually.
Most people don't think, oh, my dog's copying me. But dogs do. They learn by watching and observing, and then I'm going to try it too.
Dogs like to dig and dogs need to dig. It's just something that they do. So what I recommend is I like the small kiddie pools. You can get them, usually at feed stores is the best place to get a good variety. And I'll fill it with dirt, put some peat in there, maybe some sand to kind of keep it, broken up instead of clumping. And then I hide toys in there. Maybe I'll hide their balls. Maybe I'll hide a milk bone, something like that. And when they go to dig in the yard, I'll say, let's go to your dig pit. Hurry, hurry. And we'll run over there and I'll dig a little bit and I'll come out with, ooh, a ball. Look at that. And I make it so much fun that the dog starts doing it themselves. After a while of taking them to their digging pit, they learn that that's a good place to dig. And Debbie, you do something similar, but a little bit different.
Right. I tell clients to get the little plastic kiddie pool, but to put those pit balls in there and then throw like little treats, freeze-dried liver, whatever, inside. So what happens is the dogs dig and the balls roll back over the treats until they get it. And it's this really fun game. And it actually does satisfy that need to dig for many, many dogs. And it's fun to watch too. If you've got it outside, you have to move it under cover, otherwise the balls get slimy. So just a little tip.
Yeah.
And the dirt turns to
the dirt can turn to mud. I had a client who found a child's sand pit, and it was one of those turtles that the lid was a turtle
I remember
shell.
those. I remember those.
So
turtles.
that was perfect. If it was going to rain, she would just put the shell on top, and it worked great. Be looking for those kids sandboxes. They work perfect. And you have the next question.
Shelley said, "How do I stop my dog from paying attention to squirrels on the walks?" So I think you right, very good one. And I think Judy and I will give you our different little techniques. Like I say, we pay attention to the squirrels. If Sally sees a squirrel, she's so into it. And I say, oh, is there a squirrel? And we'll run up to the tree, and she's got her head up and she's looking and she's looking.
Sniffing.
So we pay attention to it, and then she'll watch all day if I let her, waiting for the squirrel to come down. And then I'll just go into something else. Okay, let's go. Yay, here we go. And I'll say, Sally,
It's
with
something
me. And she'll
fun.
take off. And when I say with me and she comes to my side, I give her a little treat. It's a lot of fun, and off we go. And Judy,
I have a different situation. I have a border collie who one day I said, "Oh, look at the kitty cat." And we sat and we watched the kitty cat for a while. Well, she's so obsessed with cats. She loves them that she can't focus on anything else. So I was concerned that she was going to be like this with wildlife. And we are out in the woods a lot. We hike a lot. We go to the lake and swim a lot. So I didn't want her to be so infatuated with wildlife that she couldn't function the way she is with cats. So what we started doing is if we saw a squirrel, we let her see the squirrel and we would name it. We'd say, "Oh yeah, that's a squirrel. Let's keep walking," or "Let's go over here." And we named the squirrels. We named the geese. We named the chipmunks. And she's so calm and relaxed around them that last week one day she was laying in the backyard and a little chipmunk ran right across her front feet and she just looked at it. So that works good for me because I often walk her off leash and I want her to be able to be focused on what she's doing and not everything that she sees out there and not all the wildlife. And I have a video I'm going to share where we walked through geese that were just kind of strolling along the path and she didn't care. She just kept walking. But I will say she's a herding dog, so we have to look at the instincts of our individual dogs and kind of help them with what works best with them. Sally, I think, has some hunting dog in her, doesn't she?
right? So Sally's a cattle dog mix, and oppositely of Judy's lovely Annie, we live near a college, and there's always geese. And the groundskeeper asked me if Sally could help keep the geese away. So we go there and I drop her leash and she takes off like a bat out of hell and chases them away. And she loves it. And then she turns around and looks at me. Did I do well? And she did her job.
Well, yeah.
So we have Judy out there, nice calm walk, and we have Sally out here and Debbie
Having fun.
going
Yeah.
and chasing them away. So like it's whatever works for you and your dog.
And what's best for your
Option.
dog's personality. So I think I have the last question
You
today.
do. I can't wait.
And yeah, this is a good one. It comes from Bill. Bill said that his dog is barking at the lawnmower when he cuts the grass. What should he do? Well, we have a rule in my house. Any lawn equipment that's out, the leaf blower, the trimmer, and the lawnmower, any of those things are out and running, the dogs have to be inside. And the
Love
reason
that.
being, just for safety. Lawnmowers kick out rocks occasionally.
Sure they do.
Just run over a dog's tennis ball that you don't see in the grass and you'll see a ball that can do some damage.
Ball pieces are flying.
Yeah, so you want to keep them inside when this is going on. And I did respond back to Bill and ask him if the dog was inside barking or out. And Bill loves to be with his dog, so he had his dog out with him while he was out doing the lawn mowing and using some of the other equipment. So that recommendation is for you who want to take your dog with you when you do the lawn work. That's a good time just to leave them inside.
Do your wild weed whacking, lawnmower stuff with great headphones, dance to your music, and have a good period of me time.
Yeah, and if your neighbors are cutting their grass, I bring my dogs in during that time too, because who knows if a rogue rock goes flying out of the lawnmower.
Rogue rock. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I certainly don't want my dogs to be subjected to potential rogue rock. Keep those emails coming. And once again, my email is judy@understandingdogs.com. And Debbie's email
is Debbie Sheridan up here, and 4dogs, the number 4dogs at gmail.com. We're so glad you were here with us. As Judy said, keep those questions coming. We get so excited about them.